It's the mutilation of children.
You can't answer whether these are irreversible.
I don't think there's ever a good argument for puberty blockers.
You do what is the right thing for your kid so that she gets to live her best life.
Please listen to the lived experience of trans people.
Few medications have generated the same heated debate as puberty blockers.
I really didn't like having broad shoulders or sort of a masculine silhouette because I didn't want to experience those things. I was really scared of having to go through that and having to see that in myself when I looked into a mirror.
Reflecting on the awkwardness of early adolescence is uncomfortable for most, but it's particularly difficult for 16-year-old trans girl Cassie.
Since I could pick my own clothing, I was wearing skirts and dresses and female clothing and things like that. Being a boy didn't mean anything to me. Have we got the oven on?
Yeah, I put it on already.
When Cassie was 12, she was clinically diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which refers to the feelings of distress when a person's gender identity is different to their sex assigned at birth.
Fingers crossed.
She was increasingly realising that she was not comfortable in her skin. At home, it was really hard for her to shower, and it's a pretty confronting place with bright lights and mirrors from many angles.
Okay, what about this for a move?
But puberty blockers have been a game changer.
Oh, that? Yeah. I didn't think you were going to do that.
For 2 years, Cassie's had injections that pause parts of her physical development by suppressing sex hormones. Puberty blockers are a form of medical intervention for trans children. Generally, other medication, hormones like estrogen or testosterone, can only be taken by teenagers after they turn 16, while surgery is usually only available for adults.
Some of the aspects of male puberty were very distressing for her. So the idea of her voice changing, the shape of her face changing, genital changes, hair. She just would say to me, I just need for that not to happen, Mum. I just need for that not to happen.
Because I'm confident in that move.
Advocates argue pausing puberty buys patients time to decide if they want to take the more permanent steps towards transitioning.
Check.
Cassie's mother, Marianne, says before starting puberty blockers, there were rigorous checks, including about a dozen appointments with health professionals. The process took more than a year.
So that they're very clear, one, that over this prolonged period of time, they feel confident that you're continuing to present in a certain way, and that they are clear that informed consent was able to occur, and that Cassie understood the good, the bad, the ugly, the pros, the cons, the whole picture.
Marianne, how hard was the decision to put Cassie on puberty blockers?
I have absolutely no doubt that we made the right decision, because I've got my happy, cheerful child back.
But children like Cassie have found themselves at the centre of an increasingly polarising and political area of medicine.
Sign some executive orders.
US President Donald Trump last year ordered an end to federal funding for all gender-affirming care for children, including puberty blockers.
And I stopped the mutilation of children. The mutilation, the word is mutilation.
This strongly worded report gets...
In the UK, puberty blockers have been banned for children with gender dysphoria, following a review by Dr. Hilary Cass, who found there was insufficient evidence about potential long-term effects on fertility, and bone health may be compromised during treatment. A clinical trial has been planned to gather further data, but it's been delayed because of safety concerns and legal challenges.
It is a scandal that medicine was given to vulnerable young children without the proof that it is safe or effective.
Closer to home, politicians are divided.
Would it be in the best interest that these should not be given to children at the moment until we have a clear indication, are they reversible or irreversible?
We took a decision not because of any political reasons, but because of medical reasons.
Queensland last year became the first state in Australia to restrict public access to puberty blockers for children with gender dysphoria who weren't already on them. The Northern Territory followed suit. As it paused puberty blockers, Queensland ordered an independent review.
We owe it to children to ensure that care is grounded on solid evidence.
The review by psychiatrist Ruth Vine found there's limited evidence about puberty blockers and potential side effects, including when it comes to fertility. Based on the available research, it said the medication can impact bone health in the short to medium term, but that the effects appeared reversible. And with proper oversight, there can be benefit for a young person in being able to access puberty blockers. The Queensland Government pushed ahead with the ban until 2031, telling 7:30 it's now awaiting further evidence from the upcoming UK trial. Professor Ada Chung is an endocrinologist and researcher who supports the use of puberty blockers where appropriate.
The Queensland Government's decision goes beyond the Vine Review. The Vine Review did not advocate for restricting care.
The gold standard of scientific research compares two random groups. One receives the treatment, the other doesn't. But that's hard to do here and raises ethical concerns because it can mean deliberately delaying or withholding treatment from children. That's left a reliance on observational studies, meaning that medical practice has outpaced research.
There are many areas of medicine where we may not have the highest quality of evidence, but it doesn't mean an absence of evidence, and it doesn't mean evidence of harm.
There's no perfect solution for this, but we have to work with the young person in front of us. Choosing not to give a puberty blocker, choosing to do nothing, is not a neutral decision. It does harm.
Queensland's ban has led many children with gender dysphoria to this Brisbane clinic, with GP and past president of the Australian Professional Association for Trans Health, Fiona Bishop, now prescribing the medication privately, costing patients about $3,000 a year.
As soon as the ban was announced, the impact was immediate. Our phone lines were ringing off the hook. For many of them, they don't know where else to go. So there are definitely going to be people out there who are missing out.
In Australia, puberty blockers have been approved by the regulator for use in young children who go through puberty early, a condition known as precocious puberty. Dr. Bishop says the medication has been used for that purpose since the 1980s without controversy.
Transphobic discrimination is what it is. Yeah, it is a double standard. To say that you can use this treatment for one condition of childhood but not for another.
When doctors prescribe puberty blockers for children with gender dysphoria, they are doing it off-label, which means the medication wasn't approved for that use, but doctors have decided it's the best treatment option available.
This is a typical bone density.
Dr. Bishop says prescribing like that isn't uncommon, and that doctors always carefully weigh up any known risks with children and their families.
What do you find usually happens with bone density for patients while they are on puberty blockers?
They still tend to have an increase in bone density as they're getting older and their bones are getting bigger, but it doesn't follow their age-matched peers. And once puberty blockers are stopped, their bone density starts to return to normal.
Doctors prescribing the medication argue only a small portion of patients referred to gender clinics go on to puberty blockers. But getting an idea of exactly how many children are on puberty blockers for gender dysphoria in the public or private system is very difficult. The ABC has reached out to every state and territory for the figures. Most declined to provide the data, citing privacy concerns. Of those that did, Western Australia has 58 children in the public system using puberty blockers, and Queensland, which has banned new patients, has 77.
It's very frustrating. If we could see clear data on how many children do they see, how many of those children in their entire attendance of the Children's Hospital's gender clinic, how many of them go on to treatment. Having clear transparency of these numbers would allow us to look at what's happening in those trends.
The Australian Medical Association supports the use of puberty blockers for children with gender dysphoria, But not all doctors agree, with some arguing psychological support is a better form of treatment.
I think children should be allowed to grow and develop, become who they really are, allow themselves to and their identity to mature with the appropriate mental health support that they need without making any permanent, irreversible decisions about their bodies.
The available evidence indicates that while puberty blockers can impact bone health in the short to medium term, and there are questions over the impact on fertility, they are reversible. Do you accept that?
It's only reversible if they are actively reversed. So children have to come off them and allow that time to for the body to resume normal puberty in order for that to happen.
If you stop them, puberty might return to some degree or it might come back, but the child has gone through maybe 1, 2 or 3 years where they haven't had the other hormones that are being produced by the ovaries or by the testes in males that are affecting the brain function and whatever else.
The available research indicates the majority of children who start puberty blockers go on to hormones like estrogen or testosterone. But for puberty blockers to be as effective as possible, they need to be taken early in puberty. For some children, that's as young as 10. Philip Morris is a psychiatrist who doesn't treat children with gender dysphoria, but has questions about whether someone that age can properly consent.
It's just impossible for a child at that age to be able to make decisions about their future that will be affected substantially by the medications. And so we're very concerned about children being put in this position where they're being asked to make decisions about things that they're really cognitively and emotionally and knowledge-wise are not in a position to do.
Faced with a patchwork of policies, the Australian government's attempting to lay the groundwork for a national standard, establishing a review around healthcare for trans youth, including puberty blockers. An interim report is due in a matter of weeks before the final one's released in 2028. But those guidelines likely won't have the power to override state decisions, and advocates fear they won't result in certainty or consistency.
I honestly think it's quite disrespectful to have politicians trying to involve themselves in discussions about puberty blockers when they have no experience in the field. They're supposed to be caring for people, but this is purposefully putting trans youth in harm's way. How dare you?
Like many young Australian men, 20-year-old Ashton spends his spare time playing games and hanging out with friends. Ashton came out as trans at 14.
If I'd been able to access puberty blockers, I wouldn't have to get top surgery in the future, which would cost me about $10,000 to $20,000 out of pocket. And it also would have helped my mental health a lot. I ended up at 14 attempting suicide, which resulted in an ICU admission. And after that, I just went through cycles of hospital admissions. And that happened until I was 18, which then it got a bit better because I started testosterone.
For Cassie, puberty blockers have given her time and space to work out her next steps. But the politicisation of the deeply personal is difficult to understand.
I love the people of this country, and to think that some of them refuse to give little kids life-saving care that they need to effectively function and feel comfortable, or just time to stop and breathe for a second. It's really sad, and I feel these poor kids have to go through so much more added trauma that isn't necessary.
She's now had her final shot of puberty blockers and has started estrogen, the next stage in the process.
If I hadn't had this medication, my life would be so much darker and bleaker. But I'm probably going to have to go through so much more struggle. But I'm very happy to live.